Just a minute. I played it and it was okay. Let's hope it will play.
Als sie per Zweine ist in Stubberein gekommen, hat sie eigenen Mann nicht erkennt. Die ganze Gebäude runtergenommen, hat sie gemacht, bei Jolech Gewalt. Die Boot von mir sein. Die Boot, mit Hatten allein. Die Boot, sagt sie sein. Die Boot, mit Hatten allein. Sie ist das ein Mann, sie ist das eine Woche, sie ist das eine Käfer, sie ist das eine Sache. Sie soll nicht das tragen, sie soll nicht das lernen, als mein frommer Mann, so sind die Boot gar nicht schwer. Die Boot soll mir sein, die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein. Die Boot, die Taten allein. Nächten bei Nacht ist gekommen zu hören, die ganze Gebäude, alle Beschale, Maharain, Ahora, Leben, die Boot, ist gelegen, Asher. Die Boot, soll mir sein, die Boot, die Taten allein. Die Boot, soll mir sein. Die Boot, die Taten allein.
Okay. So let's start and reading the English. Marsha, can you start reading the English?
My resolution is too big.
Okay, so leave it. Andrew, please.
The Haskalah, the Jewish Enlightenment of the 19th century, aimed to bring Jews into the modern world. Its adherents, the Maskilim, encouraged education in science, math, secular history, and the languages of the nations where Jews were living. Some of them adopted modern European dress, and because German Jews were in the forefront of the Haskalah, a Jew who dressed that way in Eastern Europe was often seen as a Deutsch in Yiddish. Some rejected the beard and pay as typical of Orthodox Jews. The Haskalah inherited from the Misnagdim opponents a rejection of many Hasidic ritual practices and teachings, especially the belief in shaman, demons, and the miracle-working rabbis.
Shading. Okay, go on, please.
Vinkl Gordon wrote and sang his song Die Boord, the Beard, in the 1860s. We have already listened to the humorous song Die Mashke, the Liquor. Gordon was attacked by the Maskil, and the Die Boord was attacked by Hasidim. He published it anonymously in 1868 in a tiny chapbook, then in an anthology under his name in 1889. It is sung by Rachel Weston and Lawrence Kramberg.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Okay, so let's start the Yiddish. Hilda, can you start, please?
As Chippe?
Chippe, it's a name. Yeah.
Okay, as Chippe Traine is in Stub reingekommen, hat sie ihr eigenem Mann nicht erkannt. Die ganzitschke Board heruntergenommen. Is that right?
Yes.
Heruntergenommen.
Yes.
Hat sie gemacht Yam Yamer Yamerel
Jomelech.
Yomer
Jomelech.
Yomelech Gewalt. Yomelech Gewalt. When Chipper
What's her name? Chipetraine.
When Chipper Trainer came into the house, let's see, she didn't recognize her own husband.
Good.
The whole beard was shaved off. So she made a yammer. She started crying out.
Yes, good.
With a loud noise.
Yeah. She made a Gewalt.
Gewalt, yes.
Go on, Hilda.
Die Bod soll mir sein. Die Bod in Taten rein. Die Bod soll mir sein. Die Bod in Taten rein. The beard should be there.
Yeah.
The beard has gone. Is that it in Taten rein?
Yes. The father should have his beard back.
Yes, the beard should be there, and the same thing again.
Right. Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Hilda. Yes, Rafael?
Yeah, I would just like to point out that in Tatnarein by itself is a curse. And so I think it's partially a joke here. The literal meaning, the beard should be back on the father. But why is she calling him Tata in this case when it's the wife? I think it's because it's a reference to this, to the curse in Tatnarein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's upset. She's upset with him, so that's why she's cursing in Tatnarein.
Can you? What is the curse? What
In
exactly?
In Tatnarein.
What does it mean? But what does it mean?
The curse is the full wording would be Ruach in dein Tatnarein. May a devil be into your father. So in Tatnarein is a short form for it. And while I have the floor, let me just point out that the first time I ever heard this song, Mina Lifsha, who was maybe 10 years old, sang it at the Yiddish Vach because her father had just gone into mourning for his mother, and her father is by birth a Tamil, and in his culture, one shaves off the beard in mourning, and so her father had Melech had shaved off his beard, and so she took the opportunity at the talent show at the Talentarnia to sing this particular song.
Wow.
And how did you label the father? He's a something. I couldn't get that. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, a ruach in dein Taten.
No,
a ruach means a.
No. You called him a name.
Oh, his name is Melech.
No, you said he was part. It sounded like he was part of some kind of a movement or something.
He's a Tamil Indian.
Wait,
from the continent.
Wait, let's one person.
Let me speak.
It's like saying, "May the devil take him."
Let me speak.
People, let him speak.
Guys, still.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is a Tamil, by which I mean he is an Indian from the subcontinent of India. He's a native speaker of the language Tamil, and his birth religion, I guess, was Hindu. And he converted to Judaism, and he's highly multilingual, and so he speaks only Tamil with his kids. So Mina Lifsha is a native speaker of Tamil. Her mother always spoke Yiddish to her, so she's a native speaker of Yiddish, and of course English is a good language for her, and Hebrew. Anyway, that whole family is highly multilingual.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
May I ask a question? Okay.
Yes, please.
Is there an expression in Mamanahain or in Bobanahain or just in Tatnahain?
I've never heard it except in Tatnarein or in Tatnarein.
Aye, poor Tata. Okay.
Can I just add? Can I just add to what Raphael just said? Because I met Mina in Oxford here, because she studied in Oxford, and I did a little Yiddish workshop in Oxford, and to my horror, there was this fluent Yiddish speaker in the class, and she spoke Yiddish from birth, virtually, and she said that in her family, she was a descendant of Mordechai. Was it not Mordechai?
Yes, Schechter.
Yes. Mordechai Schechter, yes. And yes, who's wrote this amazing Yiddish dictionary and so on. And she spoke fluent Yiddish, but she was very quiet in the class. She sang everything, but she came and spoke to me afterwards. She was lovely. And she said that from childhood, if they didn't speak Yiddish, the mother would ignore them. So if they wanted milk, they had to go to the fridge and say, a bissel milch, mama. Otherwise, the mother would give them nothing.
Okay.
That's a good way to learn.
Thank you, Hilda. Morty?
Yes, I just wanted to say that, of course, I know the saying "Arich in Taten Staten Aran," but I remember when I was small and my grandma, I did something that my grandmother didn't like. She didn't use that expression. She would say "Arich in Dir Aran."
Okay.
With the
What does that mean?
With the Galician dialect, not the Klal Ruach.
Okay. Bonnie, what did you say? What it means?
Oh, I did not understand the translation.
Okay, Morty, will you translate it for her?
Oh, yeah. May the devil get into you, or a ghost get into you. Arich and Dir Arain.
So is that Ruach?
Yes, that's a
Meaning
demon.
a spirit? A spirit?
Yeah, a spirit or
Evil spirit, a demon.
Or a ghost, a demon, or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
She didn't mean it, but that was her reaction.
Yeah, I didn't know that Ruach could be used in a negative sense. I knew it was spirit, and I always thought a very positive word.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. Let's go on. Elaine, please.
Oh, I'm not muted. Okay.
You're okay.
Sie ist das a Mann? Sie ist das a Bocher? Sie ist das a Nekeva? How do you, it's Hebrew, but Nekeva? Sie ist das a Zocher? Sie soll ich das trachten? Sie soll ich das klären? As mein Grumer,
That's a faith.
Frommer.
As mein frommer Mann hat sich die Bord abgescheuert. So is this a man? Is this a boy? Is this a female? Is it a male? What should I think of this? What should I consider about it? That my religious husband shaved off his beard.
Good. Ganz good.
Okay.
Very
Any
good.
question on this paragraph? No. Okay, so go on, read the refrain.
Die Bord, soll mir sein, die Bord in Tatenarein. Die Bord, soll mir sein, die Bord in Tatenarein.
Okay, we already translated it, so yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Hannah, can you read Yiddish? Hannah?
Bei Nacht ist mir gekommen zu holen die Geschichte
Die ganze
Bord Elia Hasholem. Ahor ahin, ahor aher, und lebender Bord ist gelegen Asher. Last night came to me in a dream, the whole beard, Elia Hasholem, is that his name?
No, Aleh Shalom is when someone is dead. Someone is
feminine for all of us.
May he rest in peace.
Exactly.
No, it's
No, it's
it was the first language. Ahor ahin, a hair here, a hair there. And near the beard, and by the beard, there was a pair of scissors laying.
Good.
Okay, I see. Thanks. Elaine, yeah?
Okay, so shouldn't it be the Alava Shalom? Shouldn't it be a Vav instead
It's
of
the
a
feminine
Hey?
form. It's the feminine form because board is feminine.
It's feminine. It's D.
Oh,
You see, D board.
The
D
board.
board.
okay,
As
okay,
if it
okay,
were a girl or a woman. It's the
okay,
feminine
got it,
form. Right.
got it. Okay.
Okay, so Hannah, can you also read the refrain?
Sure. Die Bord soll mir sein, die Bord in Taten herein. Die Bord soll mir sein, die Bord in Taten herein.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Okay. White beard. Okay, so let's listen to it once again. There are lots of people in the audience that are singing with air, so that's what you are hearing.
Mina,
Yes?
I just want to point out that the word gansichke is for a humorous effect. You know, the ganze board, it's the whole beard. But you have that ending ichke, which makes it tiny, the whole tiny beard. The gansichke. It's for comic effect.
Can I
Okay.
request that if anybody is singing with it, could they please mute themselves?
Yeah, but also, Elaine, that's what I said. Some of the singing that you hear is from the
Oh,
audience.
their audience.
Oh,
That's
that
Right.
audience.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
I knew that
Yeah.
it was coordinated, I didn't think it was from our audience. Okay,
Yeah,
I
it's
got
from
it.
the audience in, yeah.
Got it, got it,
Can
got
I
it.
ask, when you say for it's repeated for comic effect, there's in operettas, they do that, and Gilbert and Sullivan, they go on and on and on, and it becomes hilarious. So I think
Sure.
that's what you meant when
Right.
you said for comic effect.
Right.
Okay.
Can I
That's what you meant.
Just a
Can I-
moment. Karen, raise the hand. Karen?
I just have something to add about the curse. In the English Yiddish dictionary, if you look up damn her, it will say a ruach in ihr Taten arein.
So the repetitiveness, yeah. In Taten status,
We'll go into another generation.
Right.
Okay. May I ask a question again? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Gansichke. Chke is diminutive. So usually, I don't understand why it's like you're making it smaller. Gansichke,
It's
the
to be-
ending. Isn't it diminutive?
Yes, it's to be cute because
I see.
he had
Okay.
a full beard,
Right.
and so it's not just the ganze, but it's the gansichke.
Gansichke.
It's to
Okay.
be cute. It's
Thank-
for
I
comic
should
effect.
know. Okay.
By the way, Michael Gordon wrote many songs, and most of them were satirical. They were humorous. They were for comic effect. Those of you who were with us, I don't know, last year or I don't know when, we listened to his song, Glazel and Mashke,
Mm-hmm.
Dimashke,
Yeah.
about liquor, and it's a funny song too. So
Yeah, I remember my uncle singing this song and singing the mushka too. He had
right,
a
yeah,
voice.
they're cute. They're cute songs.
I have a question.
Yes, Cookie.
Is there a particular sect that removed the beard if somebody died? A particular sect of Jews that did that?
I don't think so. I don't know.
We don't know. Well,
But
I don't know.
really, you're not supposed to cut your
So
beard.
why would this
Morning.
Jew remove his
Okay.
beard?
Because you said he was from
Maybe
India.
Rafael has the answer because he raised his hand.
Yeah, this fellow was born not Jewish. And so he's following his family custom.
Okay, thank you. Josh Shanabgar.
Just
Okay.
an aside that really has nothing to do with this, but it is now, those beards have now become the style. My son has one and he looks like an Arab. He used to have a nice beard, but he had this long beard and I can't stand it. And
They're wearing the Van
young
Dyke
men.
song.
And there are so many young men who have adopted that style at the moment. It's kind of yucky to me.
Morty?
Yeah, about this thing with the beard. As I understand it, and I may be wrong, but as I understand it, what you cannot do is to shave your beard, but you can cut with scissors or something similar the extremes of the beard.
Okay. Now we know quite a lot about beard. Let's listen to it once again.
Als sie Petweine ist in Stummerein gekommen, hat sie eigenen Mann nicht erkennt. Die ganze Gebäude darunter genommen, hat sie gemacht, bei Jolech Gewalt. Die Boot, die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein. Die Boot, die Taten allein. Die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein. Die Boot, die Taten allein. Sie ist das ein Mann, sie ist das ein Bocher, sie ist das eine Käfer, sie ist das eine Sache. Sie soll nicht das tragen, sie soll nicht das klären, als mein frommer Mann, so sind die Boot ja noch schwer. Die Boot, die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein, die Boot, die Taten allein, die Boot, die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein. Die Boot, die Taten allein. Nächten bei Nacht gekommen zu holen, die ganze Gebäude, alle Schale, Maharahin, Aharahin, und leben die Boot, ist gelegen Asher. Die Boot, die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein, die Boot, die Taten herein, die Boot, die Boot soll mir sein. Die Boot, die Taten herein.
Okay. Any? Yeah, Alvin.
The words that were used for male and female, it's Lashon Kodesh, of course. But can someone comment on those words? I've never heard them used before.
What, Alea Sholem?
Yeah,
No, Nekeva and Zocher.
The Nekeva and Zocher. Okay.
Can someone clarify it for me?
Okay, Nekeva is for a woman, Zocher is for a man.
It's the grammatical, if you're talking about grammar, masculine, feminine, those are the words that you use.
Okay, they're not even related to each other. They just happen to be the words.
Well, I mean, those are the words that are used if you're talking about a language that has nouns that are masculine and feminine. English doesn't, but Yiddish does and Hebrew does. Those are the words that you use to indicate that they're masculine and feminine.
So are you saying that we use the Hebrew words?
Yes.
For masculine and feminine in Yiddish? Okay, because
Nekeva and Zocha are the words that are used in Yiddish, and they're from the Hebrew, right?
And it's from Nekeva and Zachar.
Right.
And Nekeva is for a female, Zachar is for a male.
I thought Nekeva was like a girlfriend on the side, no?
But
no, it's just female, that's all.
No, that's something else.
Yeah, that's a connotation, another
No, that's
connotation.
different. I always thought.
Morty, you raise your hand, or it's from?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that, in fact, in Yiddish, much more than Zocher, which is really male, the word is much more common and used usually is Nekeva, but Nekeva is not used as talking about a woman, rather it's a derogative term generally for a woman, not used not for somebody not when you're talking about a nice person, but if you say about a nekeva is like a derogatory term about a woman. Zachar
so that's what Beverly
less used. Zachar is much less used in Yiddish than nekeva.
Okay, thank you. Susan?
I was going to say the same thing. That nekeva is a woman. What do you expect from a woman? Was willst du von ihr? Sie ist eine nekeva.
Okay. Well, in Hebrew, it doesn't have this connotation.
Right, but in Yiddish, it does.
In Yiddish, it does. And it rhymes with behemoth.
So. Okay.
Thanks, Morty.
Yeah, any other comments on the song or before we move to?
She has a roving eye.
Okay. Okay, so
Claire,
let's move on.
Claire has her hand up.
Claire, okay. You're muted,
She's
Claire.
muted.
If you see someone with the hand up that I don't see, so please tell me. Claire.
No, isn't why did he cut his beard off? Because probably he doesn't want to be religious anymore.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reason.
Sure.
And so, sure. Okay. No, because you were giving another reason, but I think that's of course the wife is shocked. Yeah, in shock.
Sure.
Well,
Okay.
that's what Maurice wrote in the introduction, the age of the
Okay.
Haskalah. Yeah.
Yes, because of the Haskalah. Yeah.
Marsha, yes?
I was just wondering, why was, before you told the story about someone singing, why were they singing when someone had passed away?
Who was singing?
No,
it
Raphael was telling the story about, Raphael.
The audience was singing with the in the
No,
tape.
that's not what I'm talking.
No, that's not what she said.
About before that someone was singing when they cut. She took the opportunity to sing that song when I think it was her father that shaved off his beard. So I was just wondering why she was singing when you're not supposed to have music during that.
Let Raphael explain or tell the story.
Kasha Famaise. So this happened. She was a 10-year-old girl, and her father had cut off his beard because of his mother, who most likely the girl had never even met. And so a few months later, happened to be Yiddish Vach. And so she happened to take that. Everyone gets up and sings something. That's what she chose to sing.
Okay, so it was not exactly at the same time.
It wasn't at the funeral, right? It was at Yiddish Vach.
It was later.
Right.
Also, who knows? Indie funerals are different. Maybe they can sing it.
Maybe, sure.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay, but we are not doing indie culture. That's another Zoom. We are doing Yiddish. So let's go back to the story. And where is the story? The story, I think, is here. Yeah. Okay, so, and we were, what page? 132. Oh my God. Okay, and I will enlarge it. So remember, someone is coming to South Africa and is landslide, are thinking what he can do for a living, and they are taking him to the hop, to the big one, to the big honcho, a wonderful house, very big. The wife is dressed to the nines, you say? Dressed to the nines?
Dressed to the nines, yeah.
Dressed to the nines, and they are sitting and thinking. It's a bit like, the Chochems of Chelem, that they are coming together and sitting and thinking what can be done. So here the landslide are thinking what can be done. So Mariv, that's you.
Okay, so there's the word yellow in here, which
I'm going to ask you all to tell me what it means, but let's hold off until
Okay, so I'll tell you because you see, he is the green one. He is a new one. They are yellow. They have already been in the country for a while.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, die 3 gele Landsleit, was wären von die alle Sachen wenig Nispol, the 3 yellow landsmen who were very little impressed by such things, and Nispol is Hebrew, seien gleich zu gekommen zum Ihnen. Right away, turned to the issue or came straight to the point, and Ihnen is und declared dem Zweck von their kommen and explained the purpose or goal for their coming. Der neue Landsmann hat kein Geld nit und weiß nit. The new Landsman has no money and does not know, it implies how or what kind of work to take up. Zu was sich zu nehmen. Man muss ihm helfen und ein Eitze one must help him and give advice, and Etza is Hebrew, about what to do. Okay. Avada, wie denn? Of course, what else? Sagt der Gewir, said the strong or rich man, as nit Langzeit to wer denn soll helfen? If not landsmen, then who should help? Nor medarf sich akorscht mayashiv zain.
No, Mayashev zain.
Mayashiv zain, yeah, with the accent, okay. Via zoid zu helfen. Only we need first to consult or confer, discuss and decide amongst ourselves how to help him. Ot iberdem seinen mir doch Tage gekommen, haben 2 von die Landsleit geantwortet mit Hamol. So regarding or about this is what we actually came for. 2 of the landsmen answered at once or abruptly. I wasn't sure of the meaning.
At once, mit Hamol, at once.
Mit Hamol.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Beverly, can you continue? Mein Eitze?
Mein Eitze wollt gewen. My advice would be, hat nit lang trachtende. Don't think too long. Gesagt der Gewir, the rich guy said. Soll nehmen a halava. What's that word? Halava.
Alvoer.
Alvoer by the Gemilas Chesed. He should take a, what is that word mean?
Loan.
Oh, take a loan from the loan people.
An interest-free loan.
Oh, an interest. Oh, for the interest-free group.
It's no, the Gemilas Chesed was like, a charity group
that helped people.
Yes.
Ich will for ihm gut sagen, I'll speak well about him. Wird kein Schwierigkeit nicht sein. So it won't be hard for him to get this loan. Man soll for dem Geld kaufen a Pferd. With this money, you should buy a horse, and wagon, and a wagon. Soll nehmen Traien mit Zek. What is Traien? He should. What?
Probieren. I'm giving you another.
He should try. Cedric explained that it was try, and it was their way of saying peddling.
Oh, peddler, peddler with sacks, with bottles. What is
English? It's English.
Yeah, English with bottles. He should sell bottles. Und machen a leben and make a living.
Okay, just a moment. Sure. You have something to?
Yeah, there's a very interesting grammatical point here. By D, Gemilas Chesed. Why should it be D? And it's
Oh,
because
yeah.
Gemilas Chesed is singular. It's a fund, the Free Loan Society. And the answer is in Northern Yiddish, which is what they're speaking. You can use D, and it doesn't change to der. It's not a feminine, really. It refers to an organization or to a shop. So it's a singular article that is not necessarily feminine, and it doesn't change after by. It's only in Northern Yiddish.
So Rafael, it will apply to every organization?
Possibly.
Yeah, generally you find it with, for example, where you buy butter would be ich vorbuy die Butter.
Really?
Yeah, that's in, of course, Vilna. This is Northern Yiddish, and most of the folks in South Africa are speaking Northern Yiddish, even though they're very far south at the moment.
May I ask? I'm not sure what halva means. Halva, is that
Loan.
Loan. Isn't there? That's a Hebrew word, right?
It's a Hebrew word.
Yes. Is there a Yiddish word for a loan? Is there a what? A hoif? No, a hoif is what you owe somebody. A hoif. But
my parents always say the nalvur.
I never heard.
I never heard that word before in my life. That's
Me
well,
neither.
it's Hebrew, but
I
Yes,
don't know.
you have heard that word. You have heard that word in its Arabic form, halwa. Halwa is the loan people that like if you want to send money from one place to another, you know, in the Arabic world, you go to a halwa and you give him $100, and he calls another guy who's a halwa in the place where you want to send the money, and they give him that money. It's a position of honor. So it's the same word basically, I think.
Isn't that something?
You know, and it's also a secretive way to move money around.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that you go to them and that's it.
To me, it looks like halava.
No, this is different. This is different than halwa, which is an organized group, but it's the same. I'm sure it's the same word root.
Interesting.
Okay, thank you. That's interesting. Thanks.
I wanted to.
Rachel, just a moment. Rachel,
I would, if I were speaking, I would say soll sich borgen.
Yes.
Borgen.
Yeah, to borrow.
But what is the loan itself?
That's right.
what is to a loan?
Yeah, what is the loan itself?
Okay, I'll ask them. Okay, Marty, you don't know what loan is?
Marty.
From what I would say, it's a borg. A borg.
A borg.
A borg.
Borg, a loan.
Okay, and can I please ask that only one person explain what something means?
Oh, that will be a problem. You know, we are trying to do it in the last 6 years. And so, yeah, we will try. Okay, Bonnie?
Yeah, can someone explain when you say northern? I'm not really good with my geography. Where is it Litvak or the other? I can't remember.
Okay, we will let Rafael explain.
Yeah, roughly speaking, there are 4 accents in Yiddish, roughly speaking. Western Yiddish is almost completely gone. The others are, well, you can call it Northeastern, but I'll just call it Northern. That's Litvish Yiddish, and it includes an area which is modern-day Lithuania, parts of Poland and Belarus. Then there's Central Yiddish, which includes places like Warsaw, and there's Southern Yiddish, which would include Bessarabia, parts of Ukraine. And each of those, they're completely intelligible, but they have different vowels and sometimes slightly different grammar. Another good example is, how do you say good afternoon? Well, there is no good afternoon in most of the Yiddishes, but in Southern Yiddish, there's gut health. So there's slightly different vocabulary and slightly different grammar among them. And so Northern Yiddish is, well, if you want to call it Lithuanian Yiddish, that's a pretty good approximation.
Okay, so it seems it's really helpful to know when reading where the author came from to understand some of the idiomatic or pronunciation.
What is the closest to a klal Yiddish?
What is the what?
The closest to klal, from which area? Is it Lithuanian?
That's Lithuanian.
That's the closest. Okay.
That's Lithuanian, yeah. Louisa, yes, please.
Hi. I just wanted to comment on the spelling of the word for loan, which is halva'a, right? We have it with a double vav there. The Hebrew, I just looked it up, of course, just to make sure. The Hebrew, of course, has one vav only. So
And not always, Louisa. It depends if it's ktiv chaser or ktiv maleh.
Okay. But okay, I agree with you. But the point that I was going to make was that the double vav in this case is simply a phonological adaptation, or a sort of a written adaptation to Yiddish, simply by putting that double vav there, so that it will indicate in Yiddish that it's pronounced as a v sound.
Mina.
Yes, Maurice.
And don't forget, there are two kinds. There's the plain halva and the chocolate covered halva.
Okay, and my favorite, the halva, the hair halva.
Thank you, Maurice.
How would halva be spelled?
Okay, Susan, Morty, and then Marsha. Susan.
How about me? I'm on my hands.
Sorry. Susan and Kichl. Susan.
The pronunciation of Klal Yiddish, as you said, is like the Litvish Yiddish, basically, but the grammar of Klal Yiddish often uses Southern Yiddish, because for the Klal Yiddish, the grammar is more the Southern style.
Okay,
But
thanks.
it's what the schools, the Yiddish schools, the Yiddish literature groups began using starting the early 1900s, I would say.
Okay, thanks, Susan. Cookie, yeah.
That I can't get over that word trying, because my mother used to use the word trying very often. Ich will trying satindas. And I felt and you explained to me that it's the same as the word in English, but it's Yiddish also, trying. But
yeah,
actually,
it's called Ginglish.
Yeah. No, but you said it's a Yiddish word, trying.
No, what we said.
No,
Cookie, what we said is that Cedric, he explained to us that in South Africa, it became synonymous with peddling. That's what he said.
But but in the sentence here, doesn't it mean to try?
Yeah, but it's to peddle.
To forbidden? That's why they have there?
Here it's because it is a story written by a South African Jew, and they use trying for peddling. That's specific South African Yiddish.
So how would you say to try?
To try to probieren.
Yeah, that I know. That's why I couldn't understand why this didn't mean the same thing. See, in the sentence it sounds as this would mean the same thing. He should get a horse and wagon and try to sell or something like that. No?
Cookie, that's what he explained. I think he knows South African Yiddish better than us.
Yiddish Vinkl.
Okay, Marsha, yes, please.
Yes, Galiciana, where are is that the south or the north?
South. The south, Marsha.
Okay.
Okay.
Beverly,
someone else has a question?
Yeah, I have something. How would you say to peddle then? What's the Yiddish word peddle? Because my grandfather was a peddler in Poland. How would you say peddler or to peddle?
Here you say it trying, but I don't know how we say it.
No, how would it be said in Yiddish near Warsaw?
Yeah, I understand your question. I just don't have an answer.
A peddler?
Handler.
A handler, maybe a handler.
Yeah, a handler.
Yeah. The foil?
Yeah, there's all sorts of nouns but there's very few verbs for peddle. I do find in my dictionary peddlin, which is, I guess, the form that you'd use for a peddler or peddled. But as a noun, there's Pakenträger, Voyageur, Dorfsgeher, Medina-geher, and you even have in Latin America a Quentinic, which we learned last time.
Right. Yeah, Quentinic, yeah.
Quentinic.
We talked about it last time.
Yeah.
Okay, Beverly, yeah. Steve, and then Beverly continues. Steve.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Raphael, my question about the Pakenträger, it's a peddler of a specific item. Is that correct? Or were all those words that we're using, they were to refer to people who sell noodlin or books, like a Pakenträger is a bookseller. Are those the different nouns that you were referring to?
No, a Pakenträger is not necessarily just books. It's just an itinerant salesman. He carries this stuff around in a bag, in a torba,
Is
in
that
a
the
pack.
name of the book from the Yiddish Book Center?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah.
The magazine.
Yeah. Okay, Beverly, go on.
Journal.
Beverly.
Schleimen hat a Spar getan, das Blut in Punemereim. Schleimi, I don't know how you say Spar. His blood rolled over his face.
Rushed to his face.
Yeah, his blood rushed to his face. Der Herrendick, das Wort, Pferd und Wagen. When he heard the words horse and buggy, he got his blood rushed to his face. Was schmeckt mit Balagola? What smells like, I'm not sure how you pronounce, how you say Balagola. What is that?
Coachman.
Wagon driver.
Wagon driver.
Oh, the wagon driver smells the horse and buggy, the horse.
No, but ihr schmeckt it's like, it sounds like, it's not really the smell.
Right.
It has a connection to.
It's a contraction.
Yes.
What it smells, hat gewollt etwas sagen. He wanted to say something. Gors is ihm schwer, but it was very hard for him. Gewen, und hat bloß a Kuss getan. So he wanted to say something, but it was too hard, so he just coughed.
Okay. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you. So, Susan, can you go on?
Where are we?
Yes, where are we?
Yene landslide.
Yeah.
You see, Yene landslide. Page 132.
Oh, jene Landslide haben genommen gucken und drehen die Cap einer zu der andere. So those landslide people, they started to look around, and they were shaking, they were agreeing with each other, they were shaking their heads one to the other. Und doch hat einer sich upgerufen, and then one of them called out, Nein, das ist nicht für ihn kein business. No, this is not a good business for him. Wird nicht können umgehen. He won't be able to go around. Mit darf ausklären etwas an andere Sach. We have to come up with another thing. Efter soll trying mit drapery. Maybe he should peddle drapery. Hat der Zweiter vorgestellt. The other one suggested. Drapery, hat der Balabus gesagt. Teug gewiss nicht. Drapery, the Balabus said, that's not suitable at all. Wird weggeben die Schore Geld. He'll give away the merchandise without any money. Und wird raus a Brote. And he'll wind up without a cent. Und wieder darf man sich zu dem Gott austeugen. Zu dem Gott austeugen. And then we'll have to deal with this.
No, so someone needs to be very good for this kind of of work.
What's ice tugging?
It's a specialized business.
Yeah. So it's a specialized, someone needs to be very good for it. Rafael, please, yeah?
Eisteigen is to have expertise, and it usually is with sich, as it is here.
Yeah, zu sich, man sich.
Someone else, an expert, will have to figure it out. Efsher a shopke, maybe a shopkeeper. Is der Dritter reingefallen in die red? So maybe a shopkeeper, the third person, joined in the conversation. Red nit kein Narrischkeiten, don't talk nonsense. Wie kommt a Grine zu a Shopke? How does a new immigrant like that, how can he do shopkeeping? Wie, wos, when, how, what, when? Schleume is gesessen wie auf heiße Keulen. Shlomo was sitting as though he was on a bed of hot coals. Meret wegen im azoi. Punkt wie wollt dabei nicht gewähnt. They're talking about him as though he wasn't even there. Wie wollt gewähnt a Pferd, like as though was a horse, a behemoth, a cow. Aber gleichzeitig hat euch verstanden. But at the same time, he also understood, as alt was they sagen is emes, that everything they're saying is actually the truth. Und sie seien doch seine emisse gute Freund. And they actually are, in truth, his good friends.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Thanks. Karen, can you read, or you have people there?
Yes.
Can you enlarge it a little bit?
Yes. Okay, better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Karen.
Es ist doch a plan. It's a plan. Hat plötzlich der Ballerboss feierlich ausgerufen. The Ballerboss solemnly said, wie bald as teug sich nicht aus zu Business, wird werden a Malamed.
Melamed. It's really, it's those who cannot do, teach.
They teach.
Okay.
And those who can't teach Jim.
Okay. Sorry, Karen, sorry.
Since he's not adept at business, he will become a teacher. Zu mir kommt a Rebbe für meine zwei Jüngler, a teacher comes to a rabbi comes to my house for my two boys. Soll ich 5 Pfund Chodesh, and it pays £5 a month.
I pay him £5.
Oh, so thank you. Will ich jenes absagen und ihm zu nehmen, I will fire that one, and I will hire him, meaning the
landsman.
The landsman. A landsman is bilcher. A landsman is preferable. Das ist schon guter Anheb. This is already a good beginning. Ihr hat doch euch avada jinglich. You must certainly also have children.
Okay, so Karen, let's just a moment, because Rafael raised his hand. He probably wants to comment on something.
Yeah, the word Rebbe here does not mean rabbi. It means a teacher of small children. And like a Dardika Malamed, just a grammar school teacher, is often called Rebbe, but it means teacher here, certainly not someone who has rabbinic authority.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go on, Karen.
What did you say Bilcha means?
Preferable.
What?
Preferable. It's I
Preferable.
prefer to hire him than them. Okay?
Meine geht in Talmud Torah. My child goes to the Talmud Torah, the free elementary school maintained by the community for children.
Good. Good.
Nu, meine euch, mine too. Nu is was, so what? Nimmt men sie ab von Talmud Torah, take them away from the Talmud Torah. A landsman darf machen a Leben. A landsman needs to make a living. Die Talmud Torah wird durch dem nicht untergehen. But the Talmud Torah will not collapse. Ihr und ich mit noch etlicher Landsleid, you and I with several more landsmen, a paar Kinder wird allein zu kriegen, several children, he will himself receive in addition several children. Wird machen a Leben. He will make a living.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Okay, everything's clear until now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve, will you continue?
A fine Leben, a good living. Has einer zu gegeben. It's a fine living one that one can make. A Malamed hat Shlomo Chanes sich gewenkelt. Gekwenkelt. A Malamed, Shlomo hesitated. Ich bin kein Malamed nit gewein. I've never been a teacher. Was heißt? What are you saying? Hat sich der Geber Chap getun? I'm sorry, what? Gvir. All right. Gvir Chap getun. Does he mean a slap or a hug?
Neither.
No.
Neither. Okay.
He caught himself.
I think it means like he interjected.
Yes.
Again?
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I get it. Okay. A teacher, what are you saying? He interrupted. This is dos is doch fach. This is your profession. Ihr seid doch a learner. You are, of course, a teacher. What else? You wird nicht treffen zu lernen, davenen mit Kinder oder euch lernen Mafter Leiner. Okay. You of course you are a teacher. What else? you do you not know how to daven? Did you learn how to daven? Okay, you can teach children how to daven. And learning the mafter as to also learn the mafter. Yes.
Yeah, but it's like a question. It's like a question. Would you not know how to teach them to daven and to pray or to read the maftir?
Maftir, right. Sai visai kennen ze gornisht. In the end, they knew nothing.
Yeah.
After all the talking, in the end, they knew nothing.
Okay, thank you. Morty, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say regarding the word learner. Learner, of course, comes from the word lernen, which is studying. But normally in Yiddish, it's used as a student in a yeshiva. Somebody who has been and is a student in a yeshiva. And therefore, the conclusion from these people is that if he is a student in a yeshiva already, he is going to be able to teach small children some of the basic things about Yiddish. And of course, Ois lernen mafter means teaching a child for his bar mitzvah, where he would read the mafter on the Shabbat service.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So Marty, what is the difference between a lerner and a Talmud?
A learner.
Muhammad. That's not Hebrew.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
What is somebody who studies in a yeshiva all the time, isn't he a Talmud?
No.
Talmud. No, Talmud is the name of the books of the Talmud. If you study in a yeshiva, you study Talmud and commentaries. But somebody who studies in a yeshiva is a learner.
What is the difference between a ladder and a malamed? Is that malamed Hebrew?
Yes. Melamed is a teacher, and the word is originally from Hebrew.
A ladder?
A lerer is a Yiddish for teacher.
Right. Yeah. So what is
Melamed and lerer is basically the same thing.
I know, but is malamed Hebrew?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is Hebrew. Okay. Thank you, Morty. Mariv?
Why don't you let other people might want to be commenting on this Melamed question? I have a different question.
Melamed is Yiddish.
Melamed, okay, but also
Hebrew is Moreh.
No, גם
No,
מלמד. מלמד, מילי. מלמד. Okay, Mariv.
I think you should finish the discussion, Melamed, because I'm going to change the subject.
Good. So it's good. Change.
Okay. All right. So I want to ask about this sentence because I think it's really important. Side by side, Kenenze Gornished. I think it was translated they knew nothing, but I think is it past tense or present tense? Because it really changes the meaning.
It's as it is, they don't know anything.
Yeah. Can you put your cursor there so we can see where we?
He's referring to the children. He's referring to the children don't know anything.
Yeah, he's talking about the children, not the landslide.
Yeah.
I think this is a really critical sentence in the whole story because they're saying our kids don't know anything anyway, so they won't know the difference.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Really, the whole story though is about how the lack of the loss of tradition when they arrived in the new country. They no longer care whether their kids are really going to learn the true stuff or not. I think this is the sentence that really shows what's going on here. If it's translated as our kids don't know anything anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's a translation. Okay, thank you, Marie. Susan, Bob, Louisa, and Marsha.
I think the important thing here is that a melamed is a very low type of employment for someone who barely knows enough to teach others. And he was not a melamed. He didn't teach little children. It's like calling somebody a nursery school teacher. And he has taught higher levels. And how he's saying, how will I be able to go down to such a low level?
No,
They're putting
No,
him down.
I don't think so. He was a student. He
No.
was a student at the Talmud Torah. So I think what he means, he never had an experience as a teacher. That's what I think.
I think there's a lot of
Yes,
respect for
maybe the confusion is between in the word learner. Here they're talking about the learner, not the letter,
Exactly.
which would be a teacher.
Exactly.
A learner is a student at the yeshiva, not a teacher.
Exactly.
Okay, Bob and then Louisa. Bob. Bob, if you're talking, we cannot hear you, and I don't know why. You're not muted. You're not muted, but we cannot hear you.
Don't know why.
Oh,
Okay,
now we can.
Okay. I've seen more Talmudin as the a Talmud, as a yeshiva teacher. Talmudin. No?
Steve, we hear you singing.
Yes, someone is singing. I'm trying.
Steve.
Oh, boy. Sorry, I thought I was on mute. My apologies.
Okay. Okay, again, Bob, because I was listening to the singing.
I've said in this teaching discussion, Talmudin, isn't that another word for the yeshiva teacher or a
No.
Talmud?
Never heard it.
No.
Okay.
No, never heard it as well, so no. Sorry. Okay, Louisa?
Yeah, when I was learning in my school in Argentina, the word for teacher was letter, and for a female teacher was letterke. Those were the only words that were used for teacher and female teacher. And the word melamed, I think, has upper level connotations or maybe Talmud Toire connotations, but that was not the case. In
Hebrew, they say melamed dardakim. Melamed dardakim is, dardakim is very small children.
Okay.
So it's not a higher connotation because,
Okay,
if you teach really small children.
Okay.
So.
But in the Yiddish school, the words were letter and letterke. And so I agree with there was a confusion about lernen, which means to study, to learn, as opposed to letter, which means teacher.
Okay, thanks, Louisa. Marsha?
Yes, I don't know. Someone was asking a question before about Talmud, and I think she was thinking of Talmidim, students. How do you say that? Talmidim?
Talmidim. Talmidim, Yiddish. Talmidim.
Okay,
I meant.
That's what you meant? Okay. Okay, so that's you. Okay. Well, you will learn Hebrew as well, not only Yiddish. So, yeah. Okay, Rachel?
Okay, I have two comments. One, I think the gist of this is that when he was in Europe, he was der Edim, he had no fach whatsoever. He was being supported by his in-laws, but he was a student, he was studying, which was the custom of the time. And therefore, the only thing he knew was how to study. And since he knew how to study, the assumption is he could teach what he studied. Okay,
Yeah.
That's kind of a synopsis of what's going on here. And then my grandfather, who I never knew, in a little shtetl in Poland, was a melamed. He was an itinerant teacher. He went from little shtetl to little shtetl teaching little children because there were. So that's my connotation of the word melamed, kind of an itinerant teacher.
Okay, yeah, but it doesn't have to be. He probably went because there was very few.
Not enough. Right, yeah.
Not enough, and then, yeah. Okay, but that's an interesting point. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Rafael, please. Und was meint ihr?
Und was meint ihr, ist die Talmud Torah, hat einer von die Landsleit reingesagt. And what do you think the Talmud Torah is? One of the Landsleit interjected. Das, was sie lernen sich dort Neues, kann man euch menadev sein auf a Kleister. The fact that they're studying there, you could also give the money to a to a church. I think what he means by that is it's pretty worthless, the money we pay to the Talmud Torah. Die Teure, was die hige Kinder dürfen kennen, wird treffen mit sie zu lernen. The study that the children here need to know, that you will figure out how to teach them. A teure Metzia hat noch einer zugegeben. It's now a Metzia is like a bargain, but something you find. It's a great bargain or a great idea. One of them added, hat einer zugegeben. Die Methode Bichlich mit die Hebrew Zere, the method books and the Hebrew, and the Hebrew that they're learning. Ich geb der Fahrer kein Schmecktabak nit. I wouldn't give you a pinch of snuff for it. It's worthless. Also bleibt das, hat der Gewirr zufrieden gesagt. So that's how it's decided. The rich man said in a satisfied way, wird seine Melamed, Mr. Solomon. You're going to become a teacher, Mr. Solomon. There's only a slight difference in my mind between Melamed and Lehrer. They both mean teacher, but Melamed is more specifically for Jewish subjects. Ihr wird machen a Leben, so you'll make a living. Und die Sach is geendigt, and that's all.
That's all, folks. Go on, please.
Wenn sie haben sich freundlich abgesegnet mit dem Adanagadol, when they, in a friendly manner, said goodbye to the big shot, on a Reis von Stub, and they left his house, haben die Landsleit gesagt, Schleimen, as das is a Glick for him. The Landsleit told Schleimer that this is good luck for him, a größer chance, a great chance. Melamdes is the sehr gute Sache. The teaching profession, it's really a good thing. Und als geendigt haben sie gleich auf die Finger ausgerechnet alle Landsleit. Was haben English? And on the way, they immediately started counting on their fingers all of the members of their community who have children, boys. Wie viel jeder wird zahlen, and how much every one of them might pay. Und es hat ein gewissen Acheshben 1925 Pfund, and it reached a count of close to 25 pounds. Sie seien gewesen herzzufrieden mit der guter und kluger Rätsel. They were absolutely happy with this marvelous and clever advice von sehr reichen Landsmen, from their rich countryman.
Okay, thank you, Rafael. Morty, will you continue? I'm calling now on people that read fluently, so we will finish the story today. So, Morty, please.
Shloime Chanes, der Baldaver allein, is aber nicht gewesen stark zufrieden. Shloime Chanes, the person about whom we are talking about, was, however, not very happy. Hat jene Nacht nicht gekannt schlafen. He wasn't able to sleep that night. Wie kommt zu lernen mit Kindern? How is he going to do teaching small children? Emes, can lernen a scharfen Blatt Gemurre. Of course, it's true that he can teach the fine points of a page of Gemara mit Meforshim, with commentaries, aber richtig sagen Hebrew. However, expressing good Hebrew, the Arois zu reden, das Wort und wie zu lernen mit der Yiddish. However, saying correctly the words and teaching them to a child, dus kann nicht. That he is not able to. Lushan Kodesh is dikduk. Lushan Kodesh, I should explain what Lushan Kodesh is. It's Hebrew with a Yiddish accent, the way it's taught for Gemara. Lushan Kodesh is dikduk.
Undikduk. Undikduk.
Undikduk. Lushan Kodesh, undikduk. The Hebrew used for Gemara and dikduk, which is the discussion of the points in Gemara.
I thought dikduk is
Grammar.
no.
Grammar.
Oh.
Grammar. Dikduk is grammar.
Okay. I understood it the other way, but doesn't matter. Loshen Kodesh and grammar. Dus weiß im Ganzen nicht. That he doesn't know at all. Wie man heute tun, how to even start about it. Wie kann sich unternehmen, zu lernen mit Kindern? How can he take the obligation to teach small children? Epes a Kleinigkeit, Kinder. It's even a small thing, children. Tinukot shel Beit Rabban. Babies from Beit Rabban. I don't understand what that means.
Tinukot shel Beit Rabban, it means, you know, very, very small children.
Yeah, okay.
Very
But
small
Tinukot,
children.
yeah, babies and very small children, maybe. Wo sind die Kinder schuldig? What is it the fault of the children? Aber zurückgeschmust. However, on the other side, wo soll taketin? What can he really do? Hat der Hawaii mit Kinder. He has a wife and children. Zu kennen an andere Sach teuger nicht. For something else, he's not good. Und die hige Kinder kennen der sei wie gar nicht. And the local children, of course, know nothing.
Okay. Okay, go on. Yeah, continue.
In etliche Tage in a few days afterwards, wenn Shloime Chanes hat sich zugewohnt zum Gedank zu werden am Melamed, when Shloime Chanes became used to the idea of becoming a teacher, is dus bei ihm gar nicht ausgekommen azoi krum. It didn't seem so bad after all. In a land, hat getracht. In a country, he was thinking, the Yidden zenen Mechalel Shabbos befersia, where Jews are not observant or of even Shabbat at all, halten offen die Kromen arim Schulen in bis Medrashim, in gehen mit Lulkis über die Gassen, where they keep the stores open around the synagogues and the study halls, and even go around with the pipes on the streets. In Azaland kann ganz gut sein am Melamed in lernen mit Kindern. In this kind of country, he can well be a teacher and teach children. And Shloime Chanes is a Melamed, and Shloime Chanes became or is a teacher, macht a Leben in het nicht auf zu danken die landslide. He makes a living and doesn't stop thanking his countrymen. A tire Zach die landslide. A beautiful thing, this landslide, these countrymen.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks. Yeah, Refoel and then Mariv.
Just a small thing. The word befarhesia means in open, in public. So it's not that they're just Mechal Shabbos at home, but they do it in public. Befarhesia.
Okay. Isn't it an Aramaic word, befarhesia?
Yeah, but let me at this point pause to object when people say this is a Hebrew word. This is some of these words that have entered Yiddish are Yiddish words that stem from other languages like Aramaic and Hebrew. Befarhesia is a perfectly good Yiddish word, although I don't know whether its origin is Aramaic or something else. It's certainly a word you see in the Talmud.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Marie?
That's me that's been naively saying this is a Hebrew word. I mean to say, you know, its roots are Hebrew or whatever. I should be more explicit. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. This is, I want to say what I get out of this and see whether you all agree is, it sounds at the beginning of the, you know, as it starts out, it sounds like this heartwarming tale about how landsmen help each other. But in the end, it's a really big critique of losing your traditions when you move away from, you know, your ancestral roots. And I think one thing that the author kind of downplayed is there are mentions about how much they're going to pay, how much they pay the rabbi and how much the Malamed or whatever, and how much they're going to play this newbie. And you know how much money they're going to save by having this guy who was never a teacher before. You know, it's really about the decay of you know, traditions and culture to me. What does everybody else think?
I agree with you.
Okay. Anyone wants to comment on what Marie have said? Yeah, Louisa?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like a lot of sort of Handlin. And, you know, we'll do this and it'll benefit that. And they came to this sort of business compromise that really, well, you know, what do the children know? But it's one doesn't really know. And then they're saying that the school, it sounds like the school would even is already worse. Maybe this guy knows more than they're getting in the school. So I don't know. I couldn't quite figure that out, whether they were demeaning the school or just doing it as a, you know, more of a convenience so that they could have their guy as the teacher. Anybody?
I think both of them. I think both of them.
Yeah.
Both things. Demeaning and finding a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Louisa, Barbara, and then Beverly. Louisa?
What is the meaning of lulkes?
A pipe. A pipe.
Huh?
Pipe.
Not to be confused with lauke, which is a doll.
What is
Okay.
Ina,
Okay,
Madre,
Lily.
אחד at a time. What is lulkes?
Pipe. A pipe.
צינור?
Zug ist auf Hebräisch.
Okay. מקטרת, נילי. מקטרת.
מקטרת.
Okay, yeah.
תודה.
Okay. Okay.
We have
so,
to be multilingual.
Yeah. So just a moment. So I think Louisa was speaking, and
Yeah.
then I see you, Maurice. So Louisa.
Well, coming from a Jewish community, the Jewish community of Argentina, which excelled in organizing Jewish education with a great emphasis in the study of Hebrew and Yiddish with academic standards that were in many ways similar to the academic standards for Hebrew education that existed in Israel. To me, this is the writer is expressing his astonishment at that particular lack of standards. And it's a lack of respect, not only to the teachers, but also to the students, because students know good teachers and students know when they waste their time with teachers who are not vocational teachers and who are not interested in what they're doing and who only do this to pass time. So I have seen a lot of that, and to me it is a symptom of the problems of Jewish education throughout diasporic communities, as it is viewed from the Israeli educational point of view of education in the diaspora. It's just lack of standards and lack of respect.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Take your turn.
And I know so many.
Bonnie, take a turn.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, just a moment. So Maurice and Barbara, and then the rest, there are more. Maurice.
Yeah, I just want to say that I don't know to what extent coming from Poland or Russia and meeting this this level of Jewish studies was a shock for this guy, because we have read many stories and accounts of education in Europe in those days. Sure, if you were a gvir, if you were the rich man, you could hire a Melamed to come and live in your house and give your kid the top-notch, best Hebrew and religious education because you could afford to. And then there was a cheder. Most villages had a cheder. So this was the next level down, where you had a Melamed who had anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 kids. He had his kanchik, his little whip, and we've read many accounts of what the education was like in a cheder. I mean, Gvir and in a cheder, and then in the bigger towns they had the Talmud Torah, and the Talmud Torah was for the poorest kids. The Talmud Torah was supported by the Kehillah, by the Kohol. The community supported a Talmud Torah with funds, but that was for the very poorest kids. Kids, the orphans, the working class kids. And so I think even in Europe, you had a very class-based system of Jewish education. And so for him to come to South Africa, I don't know really how much of a shock he was in to find this kind of situation, because I think probably he had lived in a similar kind of setup wherever he was coming from. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Thanks, Maurice. Barbara?
Oh, actually, I've enjoyed listening to everybody's opinion here because I've learned from it. But it seems that one, the community has to set up certain things when it first arrives. A mikvah, let's say, is one thing. So, we don't, I'm assuming that some of these things were present, but maybe other things were not present yet. Maybe it would take another generation to bring about the quality that Luisa is speaking about that occurred in Argentina. I don't know, but I think Mariv has an excellent point that there was a tearing of the bonds, certainly for a while, until things could get established. So I'm just learning from you all, and I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Beverly, yes?
Okay, Mariv, in our song today, we heard how he took off his beard, how the traditions were getting less diluted, let's say. So the same thing, by the time they got to South Africa, they already in Europe, they were changing, they were modernizing, they were the maskilim, the more, however you say it. So it wasn't just, but then when they got to the new country, that's why a lot of people didn't want to come to the United States, because they would give up the kosher, and a lot of people went back to Europe, unfortunately, because they knew that we were giving up so much of the tradition. But it's a good point that you made.
Okay, thanks, Beverly. Morty?
Yeah, I just wanted to correct myself in one thing. When I was reading, I referred to Mechalel Shabbos as not observing. Actually, the word Mechalel Shabbos is much, much stronger than that. It really means desecrate the Shabbos.
Desecrate.
It's not simply not observing, it's desecrating Shabbos. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Bonnie, and then Marsha. Bonnie?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I was getting a little defensive when Louisa spoke about in Argentina. And I mean, I don't have any experience of, what went on at the time. I refused to go to Hebrew school. None of my friends were going. Unfortunately, it was more like a social thing that there were all boys in the class and I was a young girl. So I just kind of felt out of place. But I just think it's difficult to compare different cultures and different levels of wealth or not. And so, I wouldn't want to say, I wouldn't want to hear that something is better than something else. That's like a little defensive, but that's just how I felt.
Okay. Marsha? You're muted.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, the Melamed or the Lera, did they use the Kanchik? Which one was using the Kanchik?
Both of them.
Both of them? Okay.
Yeah.
The Melamed is more higher, Hecher, right? Than the...
No, not necessarily. Not
Okay.
necessarily.
All
No.
right.
Louisa?
Yes, and I did not mean to make anybody, I don't offend anybody or cause anybody to become defensive. I wanted to exactly refer to the fact that this story was published in 1952, and it's very difficult to generalize the methods that were used to teach, first of all, to understand what Jewish education means to different groups who come with different viewpoints about what Jewish education is. And for example, if we think of Poland or the beginning of the century or Europe and so forth, it's one story. If you think of America, it's a different story, but not America, I mean the rest of the world. But there's also the distinction that we need to make between religious education and secular education, because there was religious and secular education also in Europe. And the religious education tended to be geared towards Talmud Toire, and okay, let's just teach them whatever they need to learn and to do the bar mitzvah and so forth, or to pray. But there was also a secular education, and there were many big writers in our Jewish culture that emerged from that secular education that they also got in Europe. So the point, and of course everywhere else. And even in Argentina, there were religious schools and there were many secular schools as well. Mine was a secular school. But what I was going to say was that that's exactly the point where different communities that were maybe more religious or maybe less religious were supporting their different ways of approaching Jewish education. Because if you think of America, in this country, Jewish education means schools that were parochial type schools that are connected with the religious aspects. But there are also secular schools in this country. So we really cannot mix both, and we cannot mix both communities because it is very complex. But in Israel, at the Hebrew University, there's more than one department devoted to Jewish education in the diaspora, and the government of Israel has historically supported and or helped organize in very active ways Jewish education overseas. And that has to do with the fact that there was an understanding in Israel in modern times, and there still is, and they're still worried about that, about what Jewish education means in the diaspora and how Israel can support Jewish education wherever Jews are.
Okay, thank you. Morty?
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to follow up a little bit with Luisa's experience, because in Peru, the experience was a little bit different because of the size of the community.
Exactly.
We had a relatively small community,
Exactly.
and it took about, I would say, some 30 years from the start of the community as such until it was able to create a school for the Jewish community. And this school had two things. First of all, it didn't have any Yiddish in there because it was a school for Sephardic and Ashkenazi children. So the focus was partially in Hebrew. We also were taught about religion, but much less. Hebrew was a course that was taught every day for at least a couple of hours. The rest of the time were secular studies. So math, history, English, and so on and so forth. So it was an integral school. And the standards were, I think, very high. At some points, our school was considered one of the best schools in general in Peru. And we had the support of the Israeli government, and we received every year shlichim, morim shlichim, who taught us Hebrew in the Israeli pronunciation. That's why I don't speak Hebrew with Ashkenazi pronunciation, but Sephardic pronunciation, and Jewish history and some Jewish religion. But all that was supported by the Israeli government with the shlichim.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That was extremely interesting, I think. So, yeah.
If I may add one thing to that, thank you for stressing the size of the community. When I was growing up, the Jewish community in Argentina had 400,000 Jews.
Well, that's
So
large.
that explains a lot of things. And when I meant secular, I meant it was a Jewish secular traditionalist school. But for example, I went to one school where I first started learning Yiddish most of the time and Hebrew less of the time. And then I switched to an opposite school where it was Hebrew all the time and Yiddish very little. So it depended on the ideologies, because there were Bundis in Argentina, there were religious people, and there were people that were Zionists, and that was the example of my school. And of course, that was supported by the Mapai political party in Israel. So because they were trying to replicate the Jewish educational system from Israel in Argentina in many ways. So thank you for...
When I told my parents that I wanted to join my friends at the Betar, they almost went crazy. They said, there is no way you're going to do that. We are Avodah, we are Mapai.
Exactly.
Even though they didn't have anything to do with Israel. I mean, they never voted, they never lived there, nothing. No, Ben Gurion and Mapai.
Ben Gurion came to my school in 1968.
Oh, wow.
And
So
Ben Gurion was crying when he saw the kids in my school. I wasn't there because I was in Israel at the time, but there is a picture of Ben Gurion on the internet talking to the principal of my Hebrew school, and he had tears when he heard the kids speaking Hebrew. That's what's on the online.
I just wanted to add something to what Morty said. My parents were Mapam. They were socialists. So think what my father, he almost fainted when he heard that I'm starting to do work about the revisionist party, about and Beitar. Why are you doing it? Well, it's work.
I'm sorry, Mina. Sorry I interrupted you.
I don't know if I showed this here, but I have a picture when I was in school, not presenting, but saying a few words to Golda Meir.
Really?
Oh, I'd like to see that, Morty.
And the only time that Begin was in Peru was he was on his way to Brazil, and his plane broke down, and they had to land in Peru, and that was the reason Begin came to visit Peru.
Okay.
Yeah, can I just...
Yes, Claire, yes.
Yes, I just want to say that many things that Luisa is telling about Argentina is very similar to Brazil. So the schools, there were Zionist Jewish schools, there were all kinds, following different, pardon?
Bundis.
Following, yes, different groups. And we also had the Morim that came from, and Morot that came from Israel to teach Hebrew in our schools. And so the children learn the correct pronunciation of Hebrew, you know,
Hebrew.
because what they do here in America is a little bit
Yeah.
different.
So
Okay.
Mariv, when you want a good pronunciation, call me or Mili. Okay, guys, so we finished this story, but we are going to read another story by the same man, and it's about someone who couldn't make it and is going back. So I just wanted to bring, you know, the other extreme. One could make it, and the other just couldn't integrate, and is going back. So we will start reading that story next week. So Hannah, I hope you liked us. I hope you will come back to us.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate Louisa's comments afterwards, and the fact that we have, you know, so many differences in communities. And the United States, I mean, I didn't know anything about Israel. We didn't schools didn't receive money. I mean, maybe some of the Hebrew day schools did, but certainly I wasn't aware of it. So there was very little influence in my world, in where I lived. I lived in a like 99% Jewish neighborhood in Philadelphia, and so it was different. Okay, thank you, Adam.
We like
What neighborhood, Bonnie? What neighborhood? Bonnie, where?
Northeast.
Oh, okay. Oh, very, very.
Yeah, it was very. They used to call it. It was also Oxford Circle. They used to call it Oxford Cycle. So it was. It's very Jewish. Okay.
Everything on for next week?
Okay, yes, we are on for next week. I already sent the story. I will send it again in a couple of days. I will send the story once again, and we are still in South Africa next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Bonnie, it's never too late.
Okay.
It's never too late.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.